Fanatic Radio is America's premier sports music program.
It's an essential part of our society, like hot dogs and Cadillacs.
With Mike Gardner and Ben Florence providing unique insight from the wide world of sports.
He should just retire so we can dip him in bronze and ship him to the Hall of Fame.
Playing only the hottest music.
The only thing we ever play on the show is Motown and R&B.
And always striving for perfection.
We're climbing the ladder to success, escalator style. Yes!
See for yourself. Check out Fanatic Radio, only on Blog Talk Radio.
He is the voice of the IndyCar Series on IMS Radio Network and is taking a sort of a full circle swing from covering the IndyCar Series back in the 70s and 80s. And now Paul Page joins us here on Fanatic Radio. How are you today, sir?
Hey, how are you? Good afternoon.
It's been a very busy month of May. First off, last week, an interesting new approach the IndyCar Series took on the month of May, adding the road course. What was your initial thoughts of the Grand Prix of Indy?
Well, I was always kind of excited about it. I started out kind of, a little cool to it, but the more it built, the more excited I got about it. And I got to tell you, race day, there was a buzz inside the old Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It turned out, despite the, actually it probably made it more interesting that they had a crash right on the start, but it turned out to be a terrific day, and this place was jammed with fans, so race fans loved it.
How does it feel to be back within the walls of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? Because a couple of years back, you were with the NHRA, traveling with them coast to coast. Now to be back on the call for the Indy 500, for you personally, what does that mean?
Well, I'm still traveling, of course, because I'm going to do the whole series. But for me, it was a surprise. I'd never thought of it myself. I got the call and got the offer, and it's like coming home again. I've been smiling ever since the month of May started.
Before that, the IndyCar Series, has it been good and entertaining from a broadcaster's standpoint?
Oh, yeah. The first races have been incredible. I mean, we're now coming into the Indianapolis 500, and we don't have a repeat winner in the series yet. And it just seems that they're so evenly matched now. The other day during practice, I haven't done it on today's practice, but the other day, the first 30 cars were all within 1 second of one another. Now, at Indianapolis, that 1 second, those tenths and thousandths, when you're running 230-plus miles an hour, makes a big difference. But still, that's such a close group. And by the way, we do have a 230-mile-an-hour lap in practice today, which got rained out a little while ago, so they're done for the day. They'll start early in the morning. But Ed Carpenter ran a lap of 230.5 miles an hour. Do you believe that?
And he was last year's pole winner. Could see a possible repeat. One of many American drivers in this year's field. Last time a USA-born driver won the 500 was Sam Hornish Jr. in 2006. Would it be good for the series if a guy like Ryan Hunter-Reay or Ed Carpenter were to win it next Sunday?
I'm not sure. I used to think that mattered a great deal. I'm not so sure of that anymore, because these drivers come in, and you take like an Helio Castroneves, he's a Brazilian, but they all come here and live. And if you take him as an example, he's so endeared himself to the fans. Well, I think it would be nice to have an American winner, absolutely. But how much difference does it make? I'm really not sure. And I know I get so involved in the race that I really don't care, as long as they're driving great.
Exactly, and you've covered a lot of Indy 500s back in your day. Personally, what was your favorite 500 moment?
Oh, I think it was a radio moment in 1982. Gordon Johncock and Rick Mears were on their way to racing to the then closest finish in history. And we as a radio network, and you can't do this without the team. And the team of that day, with about 9 laps to go, we knew that Rick Mears was closing at such an interval per lap that he should be side to side with the leader at the checkered flag, and he was. So we set it up that way, we called it that way, and we had a terrific last lap call.
And of course, 2003 was just as exciting when the controversial Paul Tracy thought he had the win.
Tracy and Elio. Yep.
And then in 1999, when Robbie Gordon ran out of fuel and Kenny Brack won it for A.J. Foyt. A lot of great Indy 500 moments.
Oh, they're all great.
A lot of interesting storylines this year as well. We have Kurt Busch coming from the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series to do the double. We have Helio Castroneves racing the old school all-yellow Pennzoil paint scheme. What has been your favorite storyline from the month of May so far?
Well, I really like Kurt Busch's presence. The last time I actually worked with him, he was taking a weekend off from his Cup run to drive a pro stock at the Gator Nationals, the race in Gainesville, Florida. And when he got eliminated in the first round, he came up and sat in the booth for the rest of the race with us. I like him, good guy, and he's been pretty candid with all of us about what he's feeling, what he's seeing. He's asking for a lot of help. So he's a good story, but you got the routine at the front. Carpenter, I just gave you the 230, and you got Montoya, Castroneves, Dixon. They're all up there at the top. J.R. Hildebrand is also today run in that top order as well. The big thing I think that we're going to see tomorrow when we come on the air is the fact that they got very little practice time. They ran the race on Saturday. Those teams that had other cars were able to put them out for practice, but it was a very limited practice. If you're a one-car team, you've really got a problem because you had to change that car over from a road racing configuration to a super speedway configuration. That's about a 14-hour process. And so they had to do it overnight or just decide to lose Sunday. And then we have had rain every day this week. And, of course, you can race in the rain on a road course. You cannot when you're going 230 miles an hour at Indianapolis. So a lot of people don't have the time that I think they would have liked or that we would have liked going into tomorrow's qualifications. The officials were kind enough just a few minutes ago to announce an expansion of the morning practice time to try to give them a better opportunity, and the weather for Saturday and Sunday for both days of qualifications appears to be good.
All right, we'll get you out of here on this, Mr. Page. Has the new DW12 chassis that IndyCar brought in a few years ago helped these cars go faster and also with downforce to prepare them for these speedway courses on the IndyCar Series calendar?
Yeah, and what they've really done with it, and done it quite successfully in most places, is they have a car that is fairly equal, so that, one group of people might say, well, I don't like a spec car. But from my point of view, that car, with so many of them being equal by design and engineering, turns so much back over to the driver. So what you're seeing is a result of a driver using his skills, but he still has a great platform under him. It is a very safe platform, which may have a downside because they feel safer. And as a race driver, when you feel safer, then you take more risks. And we've seen that on more than one occasion this year where somebody stuck a nose in just thinking, I'll be fine, and then suddenly there's 4 cars all involved, like at Long Beach. It's a great car, and they're working on another set of aerodynamic packages that will make it even better next year.
All right, he's Paul Page, voice of the IndyCar Series on the IMS Radio Network. The official qualifying is this weekend on Sunday, and then Carb Day and the 98th running of the Indianapolis 500 next weekend. Thank you once again for taking the time to talk with us here on Fanatic Radio.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Take care.